Welcome to the S.J. Child Show, where a little bit of knowledge can turn fear into understanding. Enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to the SG Child Show today. I am meeting with Terrell, and you just told me Terrell, and I can't seem to function in words. It's a good thing I can talk and wake my way through these podcasts. It's so nice to meet you. More importantly, Once Upon a Dance, which we'll get into and talk about. But first, introduce yourself. Let us know where you're at, what you're up to, and we'll get into the why you're here.
So I am Terrell at Once Upon a Dance, and I was a dance teacher pre-COVID, and then I decided to write a book. And then, of course, in Washington, we were locked down for a long time, so I have written many books, and they're all children's movement and dance books. And they infuse like actually getting up and off the couch and getting active. So they're like kind of like little one-act plays, the bulk of the stories that we have. I say we because my daughter is featured in the stories. And so it's kind of a collaboration there with mother and daughter. And they're just really fun. And I'm such a dance enthusiast. And the more I kind of dig into dance and read these articles that come across my path, like just the benefits are huge. So getting kids started early and kind of introducing them to dance in a new and fun way is just really, really fun and really special for me. And I'm having a really good time with it.
I love that. When did your love of dance begin? Is it something from your childhood or something from having a child, which brings all kinds of new experiences?
Yeah, well, both. So I started dancing pretty late for a dancer. I started around age 8, and we just did a little Park and Recs class. And that teacher told my mom, like, hey, maybe you should, look into this. And I did dance kind of pre-professional until I was in high school. And then I pretty much stopped cold turkey. And I'm always telling people, like, don't stop. You could still like go, like it's not all or nothing. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. But anyway, and then dance just kept coming back. I just kept coming back to it like all my life. Like, so I went to college and I got back into it. And I did choreography and dance. And then, I went to grad school and I found African dance, and I went to Peace Corps and I like found a group there. And then, and then I started my professional career, and then I just kept coming back to dance, and then I started teaching dance. And then eventually I was teaching dance full time. So dance has just always been there kind of on and off. And for my daughter, I used to always say, that I only taught ages 7 and up for a long time. And then once she was there and dancing and I saw such joy in her, I really kind of studied, more of the child development and built a curriculum. And so started teaching all the ages and things.
Oh, that's wonderful. What an amazing way to be able to take your passion and what you've always, loved to do and make a lifetime and a life, career and a profession of it for yourself. Those types of what's the word I'm looking for? Endeavors make it so special and more meaningful, and you connect more with probably your dancers and yourself, and it sounds like your daughter. And what a wonderful way to also bring benefits that people might not think about. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about some benefits of dance that are not physical, because obviously that is a benefit right there. What are some other things that people can maybe think about when questioning whether they or their child, or maybe a neighbor or something, niece or nephew, might be good at getting into dance?
Yeah, well, just mentioning physical, there are a lot of things there that maybe we don't think about. Like I used to start with these little kids in class, and like the first day I'd be like, oh, like terrified that we're going to bump into each other. And just like how quickly, it was amazing how quickly that spatial awareness would develop. And so just awareness of other people in the room and things was really fascinating to me to see. And then, our balance and our our coordination, but then just the brain and body connections. So we're actually forming new neural pathways all the time, and we're learning about sequencing and patterns, and it's like so many good things. And then there's also that social component. So you're taking turns and you're sharing space and you're collaborating and you're supporting each other. And, if you get into like performance, like there's so much like love and support that I see in these dancers just everywhere. It's just really special. So yeah, I could just like sit here and like go on and on about the benefits of dance. So many good things. And we know at every age that it's good. Like for infants, the brain development, and for kids, the social is so important, and the confidence, the creativity, the problem solving. Adults, we know that they're really scientifically decreasing the likelihood that they're going to have mental decline, that they're going to be able to move more easily, that they're going to be more socially connected and have more sense of community.
I love that. Our daughter did a similar, like a dance acting thing starting at 3. And she doesn't do it now, but like you said, the confidence, the being with the people and the socialization part and all of those things I found were so important for that time frame for her. And my son, on the other hand, didn't have that same experience. He has a hard time connecting with the group on a social level like that. So skills we're still working on today. But, I think that there's I talk a lot about neurodiversity and autism, but there's an autistic dance group in Florida that I've been kind of talking to and things, and just the amazing abilities to give all ability people that, they can tap into those also creative styles for themselves and to see that nurture and grow. How does that look for you? And what's your experience with that in your time?
Yeah, I taught a lot of atypical kids just as part of my class. They'd come in and, we'd work with the parents. Sometimes I would have an assistant come in, like the parent would bring an assistant, especially if there was machinery involved with a child or something like that. Yeah, we just always integrated them the best we could into whatever, and I would give them options. And it just always felt really natural. And I did read something recently that just there are studies that are showing that there's a lot higher function for neurodivergent children with dance. And so it's just a really positive force for them. And so get them involved in something like that is really beneficial.
And what about the kind of growth, if you will, of dance itself from how much more accepted it is? I guess there's a lot more that's accepted in our era that we're in now than ever before. And part of that are some of the maybe career choices, if you will, that, were a stigma back in the older eras. Like, oh my, they probably would have taken a lot of discipline, a lot of like dedication. And now there's a lot more opportunities for anybody to want to learn how to dance rather than just who is going to be the most perfect dancer to be that, I'm not sure what that looks like, but what is that? What have you seen in the growth of kind of the social impact dance has had on the everything?
Yeah, so a couple different ways
huge.
with that. One, I will say that I'm a board member at Pacific Northwest Ballet. And so they have really shifted in the last, I would say, decade, being more aware of who's welcome in the class, and relaxing the dress code a little bit, and like the hairstyles, and being just more open and welcoming and accepting, I guess, which is really nice. And then also they have a big focus. The artistic director there really wanted to focus on diversity. So they're, kind of looking, maybe it's a little bit different body types. And we've got a non-binary dancer who's doing feminine roles now, and a lot of different fluidity there on forms what. So there's that aspect. And I think that's trickling through the companies. And then there's like the adults are just like adults are flourishing in dance more than ever before. I don't know exactly why that is, but it's definitely catching on. And like there are more opportunities for adults to study. Like there's like now summer dance camps for them, more summer intensive. And I think it's just the interest has really spread, as word spreads. I think it's just a matter of word of mouth there. That you can go back and do this thing, this really fun thing, go back and learn. And so many people, you were talking about your little 3-year-old. So many people like identify like, oh yeah, I danced when I was little. And so to come back to it, maybe even after your kids are grown and gone. I had a lot of people come and dance with me as older adults, like even in their 70s, and they loved it and they got so much out of it. And they actually, like they're still a lot of them are still really connected with each other, even though they're not taking class. I'm meeting them next week at the park because they're so cute. Like, and they just always get together and, they are more in touch with people than I am. Like they'll tell me the news of the mom who moved to Canada and they tell me about her kids and stuff. It's just really sweet. Yeah. And then also just every study that we see is like, dance is so beneficial. Dance is the best form of exercise that you can do in terms of that mental, as you age, the mental acuity and ease of movement and things, and really extending your life. So I think the more science is behind that, the more people are taking notice and getting their kids involved and getting themselves involved.
I love that. Let's talk about kind of your journeys out of the United States. And you said you did Peace Corps or something, so that you probably went somewhere in the world, I'm assuming. What kind of maybe dance or music did you pick up while you were out there and maybe incorporate into your own life?
So I was in Africa. And I was in Namibia in Southern Africa, and it wasn't a huge, I'm trying to think I did some workshops and things and some other styles that maybe were more indigenous, but mostly it was, contemporary and jazz, very similar to what, you see in the US. I will say the like talking through the books and some of my motivations and things like that, it was interesting because somebody else asked me about Peace Corps, and I, that was 25 years ago and I don't think of it very much, but it was this whole like, I have always been really interested in kind of service and giving back. And so our books are actually all a passion project, and I donate all the royalties to nonprofit charity partners. And so it's just funny to be like, actually, like this is something that has run through my life for a long time, this kind of sense of giving back and things like that. So that was just interesting to think about.
I love that. I don't know why that came up, but these thoughts just come in there. I think there's probably a lot of like amazing experiences that you probably saw in those communities. Just in knowing that dance is something universal, something that everyone in the world and with regards to all abilities as well, enjoy in some form or another with music, which is so healing and brings people together, and it just is so powerful in so many ways. Let's talk about Once Upon a Time dance and where did that inspiration come from and what's happening with that now?
So originally like I said, we were going to do one book, and it was kind of you can dance anywhere. You can dance in your imagination, even you can dance in any space, you can dance in your home. So, that was for the COVID lockdown thing, and a little ballet and a little bit about my daughter's pre-professional career, just kind of a fun little book. And then we did a couple of those. So we have 4 in that series. And then I had made stories for my dance classes. It was always the kids' most favorite part of class. And they would, I would like stay up late and write a new story for them. And I'd go in and be like, I have a new story today. And they're like, we want to do the one we did last week. Like it was always, just loved them. And so I thought, okay, let's see if I can figure out how to do, find an illustrator and write some of these down, and then actually kind of broaden them out into a little bit broader of a story. So the first books we did, one illustrator was out of Canada and another one I did know, and they made it. It was just so cool that we could do this all online, never meeting each other. It was kind of this like miracle. And, and I figured out, I just self-taught myself InDesign. which was a lot. It was kind of like learning piano, I say, because it's like playing chords and you've got, multiple fingers going multiple places. And to try to watch that YouTube video and figure out what they were doing was a lot, but now I do it. Yeah, so we have that series that's called Dance It Out. And that's that I just love that. I looked for this stuff when I started. I would have rather not had to create my own stories and write them. So I really had searched for these things and didn't find them. I know that we would have loved them. Oh my goodness, I would have loved them so much. Even when I was a little girl, I would have loved them. And so we have 20 in that series. And then at some point I made like a more technical book. So we have these kind of older books. One's called Dance. This one, the Falling Into Dance, just came out yesterday.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So this one is all posture, and it's just kind of like a lot of life lessons as well, and kind of how to navigate that, pre-professional, but really like anyone with a passion would appreciate them, I think. And they're really funny because, I kind of made this really boring book, and then my illustrator, who I had worked with before, and I had wanted her to work on these and waited quite a while for her, and she made them so like lovely and entertaining. There's a cat, and now in this new one we have a dancing chicken, and they're just always doing these funny things, and they're just really lovely. And then we have another series now that is called Ballerina Moments, and the first one is called Ballerina Wisdom for Dance and Life, and it's reflections and advice for pre-professional dancers. And again, it's all dance related, but it would apply to anything, any kind of passion project. And page one is just you gotta show up, and it's so important.
Oh, I love it.
Such a basic thing. We can actually trace back my daughter's like whole career to a moment in time where she showed up and no one else at her studio did. It was an early morning master class, and everyone was tired, and she showed up, and that got her like a little network, and that that led to this, and and A led to B and C and D. And so that's just kind of wild. And it's like everything that I've learned, little tips for success. And it's just like embrace your journey and learn all you can and grab every opportunity to explore new experiences. Is the second one. And part of kind of why I think I've been able to learn so much about dance. Well, I just do everything dance, right? Like I go see all the shows, and I'm on the board at P&B, and I, obviously was a dance teacher and a dance mom, and we did like both my kids went through. My son was a dancer until COVID, and that took him out, but he was 13, so he had gone through. And but my daughter let me be in the room with her, and so I was always there taking class, and learning kind of as her little shadow, and learning what that looked like, and a lot of corrections from the teachers and things like that. So it's kind of like 2 lifetimes of wisdom there that I am relying on to make these and create these stories.
No, and they're beautiful. They're beautifully illustrated, it looks like. And definitely, isn't it amazing when we put our words down onto, a piece of paper, we type them into something, and then out of that thought and those ideas become this tangible thing. And not only this tangible thing, but this valuable, tangible, like lovable thing that you can share with the whole world now. Yes.
Yeah. And I know you know how that is because you're an author too.
Yes.
So, how many books do you have?
7.
7. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
in your hand and see that you have, created this. And yeah. It's just,
and my daughter did the same. She did one of the books, and she was 8 at the time, and she illustrated one book. And so I basically wrote the book about her illustrations. It was an ABC book, and I just followed her lead and let her see that she could take the reins and make something that is now in Amazon bookstores or whatever. It's so exciting. So I think at this point in her life, I don't think that that's on her anybody look at list, but someday when she's older and not in the teen phase.
That's something she's going to have forever. And what a nice experience to share with you, Like, I love that. That's just a beautiful moment and a memory.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell you had another one. I want to what's this next book? I'm excited to see.
This is our bestseller. This is Princess Naomi Helps a Unicorn. And this is one I always did in dance class. And so, Naomi's out for her horse ride, and the horse is really silly, and he does all the funny moves, and he even twirls and things. And then they find a little passed out unicorn, and the unicorn needs help rescuing her baby, and it's just very sweet. So we have photographs of my daughter actually doing some of the moves. In this one, there's a little bit of dance. So there are chasses and jumps, but a lot of you're acting like a snake and you're lifting your head up and different things like that. So it's really sweet.
Wow.
I love this. This illustrator is out of Idaho, and he's working on book 5 for me, I think, at this point. And I always said I wanted to have, when I started, I was like, every book is going to have a different illustrator, and it's going to be all like a different show. So it's going to have different backdrops and set design. And so every book is different fonts and everything. And I lay it out differently, which is like so much work. I'm not sure I would do it again. If I knew where I was going with this, I might have made different choices. But then I just love my illustrators too much. And so I've gone back and back again. And I have like a team of maybe 12 now that I'm kind of mostly back on.
I love that.
Yeah, because they did such a great job. And, you build relationships with these people, and you talk to them, and, he has 2 kids, and it's just really fun. And so that's that series, that Dance It Out series. And our latest one that we have there is Phoenix and the Firework Flyers. And this one, I have a couple of collaborators now. So I was at a book event. We were, book signing, and there was someone with a Peace Corps memoir. And of course, Peace Corps volunteers have a special bond there. And so we were chatting, and we went to lunch together. And on the way out, she said, I have this kid's book that I have had in my desk, and no one ever wanted it because it wasn't laid out, the right way or whatever. And she's like, would you want it? I'm like, well, is there any movement in it? And she's like, no, nothing. I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, I don't think so. And I'm like, well, if you want me to look at it, I'll look at it. And so I get it. And I'm just like looking at these pages, fully illustrated book. So this one was Sora Searches for a Song, fully illustrated, beautifully illustrated. So I'm looking at these gorgeous pictures, that she's had tucked away in her desk for over a decade. And I am turning the pages, and I'm like, movement. Movement. I'm like, and so I'm like getting really excited. And then there was one page that we didn't use. And of course I changed it quite a bit. I'm putting movement on some of the things and adding a little bit here and there. But so this was the collaboration with her.
Wow.
Beautiful, right? And it was just done.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what to do with it. So, and that was this, the last page is the picture, is the page I couldn't use. So I used it anyway. And then she was like, can I write another book for you? And so that was really fun. And I was kind of telling her my ideas, and I was listing stuff, and I was like, Firefly Story. And she was like, that sounds good. And then I was, because this was a friend of hers, the illustrator. And so she wanted to use that. So I think we had it in you have it in your mind, like, right? Like the illustrations and the style are very different for different books. And I told her that I had this, these are my ideas for a Firefly Story. And I was like, wait, I wrote this story. And that's how it is. I have all these little stories here and there that I've already written, and I just haven't had time to go back to.
Me too.
So like, wait, I already wrote this one. And so I just sent her what I had, and she changed it quite a bit, and, made this. And of course I changed her story in the editor process and all that. It got changed quite a bit as well. But this is really sweet because it's a nice collaboration. And it's called Phoenix and the Firework Flyers. And a lot of the, let's see, I have 5, I think now, that have a not ungendered main character. So it's perfect for classrooms. So Phoenix has no pronouns. So, boys or girls could kind of do that. And the same with Sora. Sora has pronouns.
Wow. I'm very thought out and intentional, and really, really nice illustrations. And what are some feedback that you have gotten about the books? That's something wonderful to always hear.
Well, the most recent feedback I got was that my book, Joey Finds His Jump, and I really like to balance. I love that I have this series of books that can be diverse throughout. So diversity is really important to me. And I love that there aren't a lot of series that have diversity throughout. So it's more like, oh, you've got diverse characters and it's, they're consistent, but like every book is different. So we have, a lot of different faces and families and characteristics in our books. And I love that. But so Joey finds his jump is a male kangaroo. And so I wanted to balance that out with some female dancers that he finds. And then he kind of learns to jump from them. And it was I told the illustrator, I'm like, I want the women, I want them in feminine clothes, not necessarily women, but femininely dressed. And so this review came in that was just like seething angry that there were no male dancers. And, and it does hurt my heart. I have a pretty thin skin as so, and I do, sure. I check reviews every
Especially
morning.
when it's personal to you, mostly.
So, it did hurt for a little bit, but kind of sitting in that for a while, I was like, you know what, like I'm going to lean more into strong girls. So it actually pushed me more toward and I kind of shifted some of our messaging on the website and things like that. I'm like, we're all about strong girls. Like, and this kind of other thing that I've, as a board member, I'm always trying to push Pacific Northwest Ballet into like, let's be more thoughtful about the ways that we're portraying women. Maybe we could get rid of some of the just unnecessary, like groping and thinking it's funny on stage. And I was really pushing for a different story narrative because it's always the prince rescues the princess. And we just did Harold and the Purple Crayon. And I'm just so excited about that. Like, I love a good prince story. Let's, we'll do it next year, but like to have something a little bit different for once was really important to me. And so I kind of I'm like, oh, these two things that I'm kind of working on that I'm passionate about, I can actually merge them a little bit more. And so, I would really try to be so diverse and kind of a 50-50 split, in a lot of the books with men and women and girls and boys and things like that. But now I'm like, you know what, we're all about women power. And so I'm just going to be a little bit like, we're still, like nothing is changing. I'm still going to have these ungendered, lovely stories for teachers to use in their classes. And we're still going to feature a lot of different faces and characteristics, but we're just going to be a little bit more on this side of the strong girls doing all this stuff, out there adventuring, doing the rescues themselves. They don't need to be rescued. They're amazing as is. So that was a really clarifying moment. And I did, like I said, I sat with that for a month before I was like, but those 1-star reviews on a mom-daughter, who are giving all royalties, away and are I'm just really creating for the love. I'm like, why do you hate me so much?
Why did you take time to do this?
You would be one and just this book was so disappointing. It's so, so awful and pathetic and sad that, and I'm just like, oh. Anyway. So
I know.
Mostly people love the books, and that's what really fuels me and keeps me going. And I literally people, I have probably 3 super fans, right? That's probably it. And each one of those has come in a time where I was like, maybe I'll just give up, because it's so hard to, you know how it is to get the books out there. It's so, so hard. And they all were these little angels that came in just when I needed to hear oh, we've grabbed hold of this. My kids adore it. It's their favorite thing. And so that I'm like, you just bought me 3 more months. And
right.
Book, that just or a review will come in. It's this is my daughter's favorite book. And I'm like, that's another month. So I just, it's like a bank. And I just, those positive feedback from strangers, especially, that don't know me, that have found this through Amazon or whatever. Those are just gold.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I can completely understand that. And it's amazing when you can see a child's love for something and you've created it and they're excited about it. And it's so rewarding. And adults can sometimes ruin that joy. And sometimes we have to maybe, like you said, put that aside and place the child's love over that. and also, I like that you said sitting on it and maybe thinking about it and deciding, well, information is always good when we know we can do better on either side, right? And decide to do whatever we want. It's our creations to begin with. So I love that. what are some upcoming things that we can be seeing and looking at supporting you?
Oh yeah, more books. So yeah, we just launched Falling into Dance. That's for age 12. Um, what's the next Dance It Out? I don't even remember. Oh my goodness. So many things are in the works. Actually, no, we have a new one coming out, a new series coming under everything else. So it'll be kind of 3 to 6. And that's called Ready, Set, Dance. Probably May release. Super cute book. Just kind of these animals having fun in a dance class. They don't know what they're doing. It's their first day. So there's a frog and a chicken. We just really have doubled down on the dancing chickens here on a dance. So yeah,
Oh,
we had an Instagram like contest to name one of the chickens, and that was fun. Like just kind of, we did a lot of like brainstorming all together, and then we did a vote and everything. It's Paulette the chicken, dancing chicken, in this Falling into Dance book. But Bella Beak comes in Ready, Set, Dance, and so yeah, that'll be out in May, and it's just a really, really beautifully illustrated, really fun little introduction to what a dance class might look like. So
I love that. And I really, really just am so intrigued at the way you've taken something like dance and put it into books and made it intertwined in that sense, because I don't think that, I mean, like you said, when you were looking for these things, you weren't finding them. It does sound more rare than not. And so bravo to you for doing this. Amazing.
Reading and movement. And we also have breath work in most of the stories, and also connection with your reader. So there's like there's even more opportunities that aren't expressly mentioned, but that you can have some tactile and connection points as well.
Lots of skill building. Yeah, for sure. Lifetime. And not only just for children, but for older teens, it sounds like, and adults. So that's just a fantastic idea. Fantastic idea. What is your website so we can send people to go and order these books and see, what you might have up and coming and get on a newsletter or email list, whatever you have going on?
Yeah. So it's www.onceuponadance.com. If you forget that, I also have dancestories.com. And we're on most of the social media platforms. I'm on Instagram pretty much daily, so you can find us there, once_upon-a-dance. And yeah, we love, like I said, like those fans and just people reaching out are just so, so important to me. And I try to do that for other people now, a little here and there. Even the musicians I love, like write a review for, it doesn't have to be me, like your favorite local business. Like it's so valuable to them.
Really is. Community support is huge. And especially when you are doing what you're doing and donating the books to charities, more community support. So just thank you so much for the amazing work you're doing. And it's been so nice to get to know you. And I love the idea of what you're doing and how it's being presented to the world, and such an opportunity for families and schools, like you said, to really help get kids moving, get kids thinking and being creative. It helps so much with neurological development in all ways, like from baby and up. So keep doing it, people. Any last advice or anything you want to give to the listeners and viewers today?
I would just say support the arts too. So community and arts are so important. And, a lot of schools with their teachers, staffing issues and things like that, and budget cuts are cutting the arts. So parents maybe reach out and just let people know the arts are important, because they really are. And we know study after study shows that all the arts are important.
Absolutely. I love that sentiment.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great to talk.
Oh, thank you so much for your time today. And it's been so nice. And I look forward to staying in touch for sure.
Okay.